Let's talk 362160. Most of the doujins I review on this channel have been wholesome or a really good read. This one is just really weird. The title of this doujin is called Dutch Wife no Kusei ni Namaiki da, which roughly translates to I'm crazy about the habit of a Dutch wife. And just from this cover, I can tell it's going to be good. For future reference, a Dutch wife is a dakimakura or a pleasure doll. The first page shows us our protagonist, Masu Kaita. He recently got a bonus and bought a Dutch wife. He lays her on his bed to forget about the bad things that happened at work that day, like how he got laid off. He starts talking to himself, saying he was called a burden, and then his Dutch wife starts talking? Either cry or have redacted. Pick one already. Of course, our protagonist would be freaked out, and the Dutch wife starts to tease him, giving me strange Nagatoro vibes with the face she's making. Masu thinks he's dreaming, so the Dutch wife decides to put him at ease. Literally. But nope, she pinches him instead. Apparently, this man put so much juice in her that she got energy to move, which is really gross to think about. Hey, she said that too. He starts to freak out at the fact that this inanimate object that starts to talk and move on its own started to say that he was disgusting and that she should be a Yamato Nadeshiko maid, the ideal woman which is gentle, kind, grateful, and 3 steps behind her master. But it's one of those things they do in anime where they explain how something was supposed to look and act, but is in fact the complete opposite of what we see. And then it cuts to the good old Gok 3000 baby by the Dutch wife. The Dutch wife starts to make remarks, and Masu says exactly what I was thinking when I first read this. You're being awfully cheeky for someone who is just a good time doll. She doesn't pay any mind to that and starts to go back in for round 2 with the lower half. And he starts to go ham, bro. I'm talking ruthless. And making comparisons to when she was a Dutch wife and how she is warm, isn't silicone, and has a beating heart. The tables turn and he finds her weakness and starts to tease her, which she's happy about. She's happy for 2 reasons. 1 is obvious. 2 is she's happy to finally be able to talk to her master and touch him. She's happy, but thinks that he only likes Yamato Nadeshiko girls, not the arrogant girl in front of him. She was finally able to talk to him, and yet Kanu, which I just realized is her name, gets cut off by a hug from our main character. Kanu was finally able to move, but was different from what Masu had imagined and got scared. And to test whether Masu liked her or not, they do the do again. Nope. It's just kissing. I'm still gonna blur it though. Now they do the deed. She starts to feel drowsy, and we cut to Masu waking up. He sees the Dutch wife sitting in front of him, looking like a normal Dutch wife we saw in the beginning, like nothing happened. Thinking it was just a dream, he starts to cry. But Kano jumps on him, saying, haha, just kidding. She starts to tease Masu, but Masu looks like he's about to fight a tough opponent in any shonen anime. To punish the cheeky Kanu, he does the deed, but Masu says, thank you. And then he starts to explain his story of how he got laid off and felt like he died. But thanks to Kano, he was able to push through. Quite literally, if you ask me. He hopes to be able to keep pushing through and asks her to stay by him and support him. And of course, the cliche of, let's be happy together. All of this was said while they were doing the deed. And so they end and Kano says, my master is no one but you. I'm full of happiness. And the doujin ends. There are bonus scenes, like how Kanu was pleasing him while he was asleep, and Masu wakes up, so she goes back to being in her normal position. Despite the weird concept and the weird story, it's a pretty good read, and I recommend you read it for yourself. I do have some questions on it, like, how does Kanu have a heart? Like, she was a silicone figure in the first 2 pages, so how did she get a heart? But besides that, it's pretty good. Speaking of Dutch maids or dakimakuras, I would like to thank you for 300 subscribers. Now you may be like, well, Machina, how does that relate to dakimakura? Well, you degenerate, if you follow my Twitter, you should know. I ran a poll on Twitter asking if I would buy one, and said that I would buy one for my 300 sub milestone. I am still in the process of getting the money to buy it. I already have the pillow I want in mind, and currently in the process of telling my mom that it's for celebratory purposes and not for pleasure. The pillow, you'll see in a later video. That's all I got. I'll see you in the next one.
Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul. These hentai babes make me drool. Hatsune Miku is great. She makes me masturbate. Fairy tale.